I've made quite a few videos on those really expensive alpha male classes. They're not classes, they're like retreats where it teaches you how to be an alpha male. The one I've covered most extensively is the Modern Day Night Project, where it's $18,000 and you spend 3 days getting a hose sprayed in your face, and that's basically it, while getting yelled at by some goobers. These pathetic urinal cake scammers prey upon desperate losers and then turn them into broke, desperate losers. That's basically the entire thing. They tell you how weak you are and how it needs to change, and the only way it's going to change is by giving them thousands and thousands of dollars, and that'll unlock your third eye. These goobers will give you the super soldier serum, turn you into fucking Steve Rogers here, and the $18,000 you paid up front is an investment because they're going to give you all the tools to make millions of dollars, and it's going to make you a real strong, masculine testosterone titan. But then you actually go to the retreat and you spend like a few days in a Lowe's parking lot getting a hose sprayed in your face, and that's about the extent of it. Well, I just learned that there's something similar for fathers and sons called the Squire program. It's a $2,000 day where you spend $2,000 to go with your son to throw sand in each other's faces and take an ice bath, and it's supposed to turn your son into a man and strengthen the bond between father and son.
Your experience was, we have a second chance at a father and son relationship, and this time is when we are the fathers.
In their own sizzler reel here for the Squire program, they drop that little nugget. No matter what your experience was, you get a second chance, except we're the fathers. You're my new dad? Like, what? What do you mean you're the father now? This was supposed to be a father and son experience, but now you're the dad. So now you've now taken the role of the papa. Can you imagine being this much of a loser? Where you're like, man, my son doesn't respect me. I'm kind of a goofball myself. I'll pay $2,000 so these guys can go spit in my face. Only to show up and they're like, no, I'm the dad now. Get away, this is now my son. It is unhinged.
A man has the duty and obligation to raise a son who is capable and confident so that he may be an asset to society and not a liability.
You're going to experience pain today. There's nothing wrong with it. Pain is a powerful tool. It's a powerful motivator, and I think it's one of the most compelling forces for good.
You can see where that $2,000 goes. Straight to the production team. Look at this trailer. It's like a new Marvel movie they're announcing here. Because I can promise you that money's not going into the actual retreat, because you pay $2,000 only to jog around a parking lot, crawl around in some dirt, take an ice bath, and learn basic headlocks. All of that you can do yourself for free. You don't need $2,000 to pay some guy to yell at you, LARPing as the bootcamp instructor. You, as the father, could easily go up to your son and be like, hey, look, sport, why don't we go for a run? Why don't we get a little more serious about like our physical activity out there? You know, maybe we take classes on, jiu-jitsu or something, or let's get a gym membership. We'll start lifting. You can do those things without paying $2,000 to some weirdos that are just scamming you out of that money. Like, it's so ridiculous.
The Squire program is a 15-hour immersive course where we're literally going to take these young men through trials and tribulations of what it means to be a man. One, go! Breathe, come on. Breathe. Look at me, come on. Don't stop breathing, come on. Look at me.
Yeah, this is what it means to be a man. Paying $2,000 to some greasy slime ball to say stay hard while you take an ice bath with your dad. If I only had a nickel for every time in my adult life being a man I've had to take an ice bath with Pops. Jeez, right? Man, there's nothing I wouldn't be able to afford. This is stupid. This is not taking you through trials and tribulations of what it means to be a man. This is just them doing, like, cosplay, basically, where this is what a man needs to be. And it's literally jumping jacks in dirt and then taking an ice bath. You can do that for free if you want to. You don't need to pay this kind of money for it. And, spoiler alert, it's not going to make you more of a man. Spending 15 hours, one day, doing something physically demanding isn't going to change your life. It is going to change your bank account, though, because of how expensive it is. I guess the idea that almost makes sense if you're a brain-dead troglodyte is that by spending 15 hours a day outside of the comfort of your smartphones and your video games and your V-Bucks, Robux, all of that, it'll turn your son into a man because we had him do some push-ups and jumping jacks and and some burpees. Like, you don't need to pay for that. If you want, just tell your son, like, hey, let's stop spending so much time playing those games. Let's do more physically active shit. And that would be a great thing. And it's a lot cheaper, and it's not just a one-time thing. Instead of spending one day doing something, like, challenging, make it a habit. Make it a routine. And I think it could be a great tool for connecting more with your son, daughter, family, friends. Like, hey, let's do this together. Let's start getting more physically active. You'd save a lot more money, and it would be a lot more beneficial because then you would do it more often than just this one time for $2,000. It's just silly. I do think there is a ton of value in doing things that are uncomfortable, getting out of your comfort zone and doing something challenging and tough. I do think that's good. This is just the worst way of doing it and the most like caveman approach to it. Like, oh, in order to make Grok strong, Grok must throw sand in my dad's face. I'm not just pulling that example out of my ass either. Like, here's a clip of them just throwing sand on each other. I don't know how this makes you more of a man. This seems like you're going backwards. This is like a child throwing a temper tantrum on the beach when his parents said he can't have another can of Coke. Their pitch on this program is so cringe too. How will your son know when he's a man? For most boys, there's no defining moment or experience that tells him he's become a man. In fact, most boys today grow up and never truly feel like a man. That's another thing. On their website, there are so many grammatical errors. I guess becoming a man also means becoming illiterate. Most boys simply grow older, but don't really know what it takes to be a man in today's world. That's such a silly mistake. What a stupid douchebag. Don't really know what it takes to be a man in today's world. Did nobody proofread this? Do they just view proofreading as beta shit or something so they don't indulge in it? This is a huge problem, and it's also the reason why so many men today are lost, confused, anxious, lonely, and without purpose. That's why for centuries, tribes and nations have had a rite of passage ritual for their boys as they come of age to become a man. It was the father and the men he trusted who took that boy through an experience which taught him, tested him, challenged him, and showed him what it takes to be a formidable man. The type of man who can lead, love, protect, provide, and be both savage and a servant. A servant? Does that not contradict all of the other shit? You want your son to grow up to be a servant. A servant to who? You guys? One of your little pay piggies? So they can grow up and give you money and keep this cycle going? In times past, this is how boys were shown that it's time to step up and to step into their masculinity and claim their seat at the table with the other men in the tribe. But in our modern culture, this rite of passage experience no longer takes place, and it's why we now have grown men who lack leadership, mental toughness, emotional discipline, and have no definitive purpose in life. But according to you, that purpose in life is to be both savage and also a servant. So the purpose is to give you money. That is the purpose for the men that you guys are trying to train.
Fucking kidding me? All right, let's try this from the push-up position. Maybe this will work better. Let's all drop into the push-up position. Maybe then we'll focus a little more. Three of us understood that command. That is excellent. If you get this wrong, I'm going to come by and kick everyone in the fucking ribs. You're going to have your head up so you see who I'm pointing at. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow, what a tough guy. Threatening to kick children in the ribs. This guy means business, holy. You don't want to tussle with the muscle. This guy's not afraid to threaten children.
3. Okay, good. Now you're going to take a right side step.
How much?
Just like you did the left side step, do a right side step. Yeah. And one more. Good. Take a little 6-inch right step forward.
Masculinity is walking blindfolded behind a Lowe's trying to avoid barbed wire and planks of wood with nails sticking out, while your dad tries to guide you around it. That is absolutely just a recipe for disaster, by the way, because if the kid, misheard a direction there and just steps on the nail, it's going right through his shoe and through his fucking foot. Well, potentially, I'm sure they would, go in and, move the kid out of the way, but that is still just so stupid. It doesn't even teach you anything. What is even the lesson there? How is that masculinity at all? Listening to your dad, I guess? But is that the best way of teaching it? Here, put this blindfold on. We're going to walk through some landmines. I'll try and keep you alive. It's just the dumbest way of trying to do this lesson of, listen to your dad. It's so embarrassing. For the father here, too. And also, look at the setup here. It's just some pieces of wood with nails and, some barbed wire literally behind whatever business this is. You paid $2,000 for that. If you really wanted to walk this obstacle course, you could have set it up in your backyard for $5 with items you could find at Home Depot. It's just a dumb exercise in the first place, though. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. Another part of their website has a section about how moms turn babies into boys and dads who turn boys into men. What an incredible section this is. Ugh, moms are bitches, am I right? As fathers, it's our responsibility to guide, mentor, and prepare our sons to take their rightful seat as future leaders. Oh, and servants also. You mentioned servants a minute ago. It's up to us to help make them confident, capable, and courageous. Every young man needs a defining experience that ushers him into manhood, and they look up to you, their dads, to teach them the ways of men and to create that rite of passage. And that's exactly why the Squire program was created. Historically, knights had squires to help them prepare their armor, horse, and weapons for war, and the squires had the knights as examples of healthy masculinity, teaching them how to be chivalrous, warriors, protectors, providers, and servant leaders. Your son deserves to be confident and successful, a man of service and compassion, a purpose-driven leader, not like that baby boy your mom is trying to raise him to be. Your wife, she is a harlot that is setting your son up for failure, which is why you need to go behind her back, give us $2,000 so we can send them through the Squire program for 15 hours. Anyway, it's basically the same shit they were doing with the modern day Knight Project, but now it's catered towards fathers and sons, and it's still just as cringe. That's really about it. See ya.